Morning. It's Tuesday, December 20th. And this morning, as usual, I'm searching for something to talk about, and I find out that tipping, that's right, tipping, the opportunity to leave something behind after you've eaten in a restaurant or had some work done by somebody, it's taken on a new wrinkle. Now, I'm used to getting checks in a restaurant, and I look at the bottom of the check and they give me amounts that I should tip based upon some percentage that they've worked out. And it's usually somewhere between 10% and 20%. So they've got if I spent $100, then they say $10 is a 10% tip, and $15 is a 15% tip, and $18.75 is an 18.75% tip. And I'm used to seeing that on every check I get when I go to a restaurant. But there's a new wrinkle out there. And this wrinkle has basically been put in place by employers in order to give their employees a raise without being responsible for giving the employees a raise. This cash register tipping system. Now, the system is designed for pizzerias and coffee shops and luncheonettes and places like that. And it's a new checkout trend that apparently is sweeping across America, but I haven't seen it. And it's creating a very awkward experience for those who are receiving service at these places. So supposing you order a coffee or an ice cream or a salad or a slice of pizza, and you want to pay with your credit card and leave the store. Then an employee comes over to you with a laptop device, something that has a screen in front of it, and shows you your bill. And your bill is there for everybody who else is in the store to see how much you just spent. And the screen has a bunch of tip amounts, suggested tip amounts. So there you are, confronted with a screen, with the line of people possibly standing behind you or milling around, and there's no suggestion. It's just the usual thing that you would get on this piece of paper if you were sitting down at a restaurant and they presented the bill, but it's put you in a very awkward position because now you're responsible to tip that employee who just brought you your coffee or your ice cream in front of who knows how many people, and maybe if you're lucky, there's nobody there and you'll just take your ice cream and coffee and whiz out of the store. But the worker's directly in front of you and all the customers are behind you and they're waiting impatiently for you to take action, and you and me and probably plenty of other people are embarrassed because we may not want a tip. Does a guy who gives you a cup of coffee deserve a tip or you go in and you order a pizza and then you're supposed to tip those people? I don't know. Not everybody feels that a tip is necessary. But this high pressure system of flashing the tip amounts in front of a whole audience has really caught on in parts of this country. Now, I haven't seen it. I mean, I went to the pizzeria last week and I know those guys and I tip them. I talk to them while they're baking a paper, while they're making my pie, I'm talking to them. So they're like friends. I don't have to worry about tipping them. I give them a tip, whatever I feel like doing. But I'm not embarrassed because nobody knows the amount except me and the guy who got the tip. And they're happy to tip. And then, of course, there's always a big jar sitting on the counter. And that jar invariably has some change in it and a couple of dollar bills. And I don't know who put that money in there. For all I know, when the guy opens up in the morning, he takes out the jar and he puts a couple of dollars in it by himself, put up on the counter, and then waits for people to do the same thing when they buy something. So now we got an automated system designed to embarrass people. That is carrying technology, I think, a little bit too far. And I think this might be a detriment to the cause. Because if you're standing online and you normally tip somebody, it's a private thing between you and the server. So if somebody puts you in a situation where you could be embarrassed, you might not tip at all. You might just throw your hands up and say, screw it. But I guess most people wouldn't do that. Most people will probably give a tip. And depending upon how much self-esteem they have, they may over-tip because they want to look like a big shot or something, or because they're purely embarrassed to not know what the proper amount of tip is. And so instead of giving maybe the normal 10% that they give, they might give 15%. But how many people do you think are going to look at this thing, look over their shoulder and see this crowd watching them and waiting to see what they do? How many people are going to have the collunes to just turn around, take their items and walk out of the store without tipping? I don't know. That's a tough situation to put most people in. And I think there's some experts who are examining this situation now, and they don't have a solution. They don't have a feel for how this is really going to develop over the course of time. Because we may find that there will be other services, like the dry cleaners or somebody like that, where you go in and you pick up your cleaning and you don't tip the cleaner. Well, imagine that if you have your pants and your suit done and then you pick it up from the cleaner and you're expected to put a tip on that. Or what about a grocery store where the cashier is checking you out and you've got hundreds of items on the thing? Are you responsible for tipping that person too? This could be a great deal for the owners of these businesses, because I'm not sure that they are going to really give the money, the full tip amount, to the people. This is credit card transactions, so anything that happens on the credit card transaction, the employee doesn't know. I mean, the employee may see that there was a tip, but at the end of the day, when they tally up the results, is every employer going to be honest? And how are they going to divide this up between all the different employees that work at those stations during the day and during the evening? So they'll just take all the tips and put it in the pile, and then they'll take out 15% and give that to everybody, an equal amount to everybody, and probably a little bit left over to put into their own pockets. So I don't think this is an advancement of any kind. I think it's an imposition on the customers. And I don't know where it's going to go from here. But I'm warning you, you're liable to find yourself in a tricky situation. And what happens in those places, there are places in this country when you go to fill up your car with gasoline, you must have an employee. Like in New Jersey, there is no self-service gas station. So somebody's filling up your car with gas. Is he going to get a tip too? Maybe he would, normally. But if you pressure people, maybe they'll stop tipping. Maybe this will be the end of tipping instead of the beginning of a wonderful new universe. So I think it's a crazy idea, and I'm really sorry that I have been involved in the technology that could develop a system like this. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.